right, let's talk about the big question. How do we encounter ETs? It's what everyone wants to know. How do you create contact? How do you attract it to you? How do you magnetize to it? How do you just let them know that you're ready for contact? There are many things. This is a big topic, and I will do probably many more videos on this in different sections, but this is going to be the core of what you need to know. And the big thing is to do the work, to understand that vibration is extremely important in contact with other beings of higher vibrations. As I've mentioned in other videos, there is this issue of the spiritual ladder of sorts, where if you're here on the vibrational scale and they're here, they can come down to you. You can't go up to them. You have to climb the ladder to get closer to them, to normalize the ability to be able to work with contact, to be able to experience them. But you want to do the work too, because when you experience them, if they are up here on that spiritual ladder, even when they drop their vibration to manifest and to connect with you more on your level, their vibration is still high, they're just condensing. When that happens, there will be a polarizing magnetic effect, in a sense, where their vibration pushes against you because you're so much lower than them. That creates fear, that creates fight or flight responses, it creates reactions. So we have to do our best to do the work to raise our vibration, to learn to respond rather than react, to learn to feel our body and be able to tell our body, no, you are safe, it is okay, there is nothing wrong. To be able to, in those moments, take a step back from your emotions and ask yourself, is the emotion warranted? Is there truly a reason to be afraid? There's a reason people have fear when they experience high vibrational beings, and it's not malevolence, it's vibration. It's a difference in vibration. It's this polarizing effect where the body, the primitive body, as I often refer to it in my books, the primitive mind, it has this reactive effect. It has this reaction that goes straight into fight or flight. Do I run or do I fight? Because its only concern is protecting itself, being safe, being alive. It doesn't care about anything else. It doesn't care about anything else in the world. It just wants to be safe, alive, and continue operating. So when you have those vibrational differences, it does that to alert you to, hey, we need to stay safe. And then a lot of people translate that as, oh my God, I need to run. This is something to be afraid of. That's not the case. The majority of the time, not the case. It's actually about raising your vibration and understanding vibrational differences, and understanding that as you raise your vibration, even myself, as I've raised and I've encountered more beings, that reaction doesn't necessarily disappear. You get better and better at responding. The reaction becomes slow or lessened, minimalized. I'm not sure the right word to say there. It lowers in intensity. It lowers its intensity. So when you experience something, you feel that fear. You might feel that fear. You might be high vibrational and feel a little bit of that fear in your body. And when you do, you just step back and you go, wait, why am I feeling the fear? Oh, my body's telling me this being is farther up than me, or something is off. What is it telling me? What do I need to know? So we pay attention to those things. We learn to respond rather than react. We raise our vibration through food, through sound. We go into nature. One of the biggest things is to go into nature, to leave your home. How many of you watching this don't actually leave your home that much, or know people in your family unit who don't leave, who just play video games, watch TV, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come back, that's it. If you want to experience and bridge the gaps, you have to get out into higher vibrational areas or turn your home into one. And you can do that with a lot of the techniques in this course. You can do all this work following these steps, following each of these guides, you know, working with your energy, raising your vibration, and understanding there's no fear. There's no fear to be warranted when it comes to benevolent, high vibrational beings. Now, in that, I want to be very clear. When you're working with ETs, others, even angels, there's this idea that because something is a being of light, it is always benevolent. That's not the case. Beings of those higher vibrations can have lower, I don't want to say lower vibrational, they can have malevolent intentions. Just because you're higher vibrational doesn't mean your intentions are benevolent. So that's important to keep in mind. And that's why I talk about, through these meditations we've done through this course, go to the Build a Fortress course. Work through that course. Learn to protect yourself. Learn how to call in benevolent energies, how to call in high vibrational energies, so that when they do come, your fear is not a response of intuition telling you, hey, this being is malevolent. You know, that's not what you want. You want to learn how to protect yourself, how to call in those other energies, which can be done through just simply sheer will and intention. And to know that you're allowed to ask questions, to know that you're allowed to say no. If something's trying to urge you to do something, there is a reason they are asking you. They are asking you because of karmic laws, energetic laws, those sorts of things. But if you give them permission, then they have permission to do whatever it is that you've agreed to. So it's important to understand how to interact with these beings. And I'll talk about more of that in the Build Your Fortress course. But overall, they are benevolent. The stories of malevolence are the ones that sell. The reason that people know these stories are because that's what sells. I'll never forget being at a convention in Metshep. An ET disc commander, I think is what he called himself, disc captain, he called himself, a disc captain. He told me, he's like, listen in on all these conversations of the vendors around you. Listen in to everybody. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to the words they are using. Look at their book titles. It's all fear. It's all fear. It's all stories of fear. And here I am selling stories of sitting by a fire talking to a Sasquatch, or, you know, ETs coming in and having conversations with me in my bedroom, or astral travel, just chilling with them essentially in other, my energetic body on their world. People traditionally, I'll say, because this is shifting. This is shifting. Traditionally, people buy stories of fear, which is why that's what you see on TV. That's what you see in mass market books. That's what you see just, you know, people telling stories in a coffee shop or a bar. They're telling stories a lot of times based on, oh my God, you'll never believe what happened to me. It was so scary. Or stories of fear, loss, things that create some sort of reaction like that. So I learned that through selling my fantasy books, that I was like, man, stories of fear are really what sell. It pushes away the benevolent stories. And the thing about the benevolent stories, the people with benevolent stories don't share them all the time. For the most part, they don't share them because they're not looking to be seen or hounded about their stories and that sort of thing, which is why my guides, my ETs came to me and adamantly said for years, talk about this. We want you to talk about this. We want you to write about this. And I had told them, no, absolutely not. Do you know what will happen if I do? And they were like, you have no idea what will happen. It will be amazing. It will be great. And it has been, but it's been difficult too. It's difficult to put yourself out there, to share these stories, to have people come up and say, no, they're malicious. No, they're working towards XYZ motives. And to have to put your story out there against that of benevolence and share it in a calm, friendly manner while not getting aggressive about it, while others get aggressive about their stories and their opinions and how they've seen things. This is important to understand. There are far more stories of benevolence than fear. You just won't know it unless you find the people willing to talk about it. And then on that is this understanding of your experiences may be misunderstood. This is a big thing with contact. A lot of people misunderstand what they've actually experienced. They have flashes of memories. They have flashes of being on tables. They have flashes of different events. They don't have the full memory. Some of them have the full memory and simply don't understand it, and because they just describe this paralyzing fear and, oh my God, I was so afraid, and they were doing things against my will and all that. And it's like, well, not necessarily. Did your soul sign up to work with them? Are you working with them because your soul signed up to? Mine did. They're friends and family. So they've been coming to me since I was a child, but that does not diminish the fear that I had around them. It does not diminish it at all. In the fear that I started to remember, the more I had remembrance of these events. It doesn't diminish that. We still have that. We still have to process that and learn from it. But that fear twists our perception, twists our viewpoint of what actually happened. So the fear can actually change the story because we're telling it from a fearful standpoint, not understanding the full spectrum of events that have happened. This is important when you're experiencing, because you want to experience and understand what you're experiencing. So when we experience, this is why I talk about journaling. After you experience, after you meditate, journal, write everything down. If something comes to you in the shower, write it down. Put the whole story together. Go back, review it. Start processing it. Spend time learning what they're actually saying, how they speak to you, if they use metaphors, if they use symbolism, how are they talking to you? Who are they? Do you know who you're talking to? Those sorts of things. Journal everything so you can go back, read it, and understand it. And process. If you have fear around it, process it. Was it a fearful event? Are you still here? Are you still alive? As a friend said to me when I was going on this journey, and I called her after years of wanting to call her and never did, never sharing that side of me with really anybody. Very, very few people, especially the ET stuff. People knew about the Fae. They knew about the Fae, they knew about ghosts and spirits, but few people knew about the ET stuff. And I called her up and I asked her, and she said something to the effect of, she had told me she had had all those experiences. There's nothing to be afraid of, all that related to me through her own experiences, related to me how even with her high vibrational state, she had met things and they had, she had gone into a state of fight or flight because of the difference, even though there was no reason to. But in those states, she had, explaining all that, and then she asked me, are you still here? Yes. Are you still alive? Yes. Are you hurt? No. You came back okay, you're not hurt, you're still alive, you're still living. What's there to be afraid of? My fear in an instant disappeared. Instantly disappeared. It doesn't mean I don't experience fear, the primitive body, the primitive mind, and those fight or flight reactions that happen. but my mind is more powerful, and I can acknowledge them and go, oh, nope, we don't need to feel that. We don't need to pay attention to that because there's no reason to, because it's just vibrational. It's just a shift. It's just meeting something different. And as that happens, then you meet stuff and you're just like, oh, hey, how are you doing? You get used to it. You get used to it. And you tune to it over time. You tune to their vibration. And as you tune to their vibration, that magnetic push effect stops happening. And you just, it's comfortable. It's like normal. So we have to get through the fear. We have to get through the stories, understanding there are benevolence, there is good, how to protect ourselves, and understanding how they contact us in meditation. We've talked about that through the meditations. They contact us telepathically with our mind. Most of the thoughts that you hear are not your own. They're your guides, your higher self. They're other beings. They're subconscious. They can be your ego and all that. But most of them are not necessarily your own. And so we have to learn to have this awareness of what is our own and ask when we have a thought. And most of you have had this happen. You have a thought and you instantly think, why did I think that? That wasn't from me. I would never think that. Why did I think that? Why did I use those words? Those thoughts are not yours. So it's coming to an awareness of what is yours and what is not. And then asking questions and seeing if something replies. Because you might be experiencing telepathy and not realizing it simply because you're not aware and not communicating back and forth. And so you can communicate. You can start having awareness. And in those moments asking, what does this mean? Where did it come from? Is this from outside of me? Etc., etc., etc. And defining a list of questions to help you understand that. So that as you go about your day, you work on your telepathic strength, essentially. And we hear them in our own voice because it's easy. There's no fear when you hear it in your own voice. You will start to hear it in other voices. You will start to hear it in other accents and dialects and language you've never spoken before as time goes on. Another way they contact us is by astral travel. Energetic bodies coming. You know, this is one of the reasons I've seen a lot of content about ETs aren't physical, and especially certain species, and that's not the case. They're higher vibrational. They have physical bodies. Some of them are simply energetic beings who can shift into the physical dimension. Something I don't, understand perfectly, other than they lower their vibration to create density and kind of come out. If you've heard the stories of blue men where they have giant orbs of light and then a blue man steps out and it's almost like he's connected to the light and walking around. I think that's one of those cases. But there are beings who are higher vibrational who can shift into the physical dimension. Most of the beings you see who are energy, they're astral traveling. They're consciously traveling just like we do. I've had people see me astrally, energy, see me in different places, feel me around them when I'm astral traveling. So you can experience them as an energetic body. And that's when you feel something pop into the room. Maybe you get goosebumps on your arms or your hair stands up on end, those types of things. Higher vibrations shifting into the room. Shifting the environment around you, the vibration around you, causes physical effects. A lot of that is their astral bodies. I once woke up in the middle of the night to see an elephant humanoid in a meditative pose hovering above my bed. And I looked at him and I was like, holy crap, what is that? Who is that? And he looked at me, and I don't remember the conversation. I have to look at my journals. It's been a long time. But he looked at me, and I think we had a quick telepathic thing, and then he just faded away and went off to wherever he was supposed to be. That was Garut. That's how I met Garut, an elephant humanoid on another world. And then I started meditating with him and going to him astrally. That was my introduction to him, so to speak. And he asked me to come to him, and I've been friends with him essentially ever since. So they can show up in those forms astrally. That's why when you wake up, you see beings. You might see energy. They might look see-through. They might look like energy, like it's moving, or a haze. That's one way to experience them. The other way is physically. They physically teleport in. I've had them walk through the doors. I've had a Zeta that walked through the door of the house one day or I should say ran out the door of the house when I woke up. So they can come and go physically. They can walk around, and you can see them physically with your eyes because they are. It's just a matter of, do they risk it? Doesn't happen often, not very often. Only if they know it's a safe space, and very, very rarely in the case of those who are starting contact, because it is a very difficult experience when they are physically there, when they are pushing through walls without a door, without opening a door, phasing through walls, doing things of that nature because of their vibration or because they have technology. Some of them have technology. I've had some walk around my house, apartment at the time, hiding themselves. And they can hide themselves. Those who are strong telepaths can hide themselves telepathically. We can pull our energy in to hide ourselves, and some have technology to do it too. There are so many ways you can experience them. Meditation, astrally, in dreams. You might be having dreams that are actually experiences, whether they are physical or astral, depends on the dream. But sometimes we remember our physical experiences as dreams, and sometimes our astral body goes off and experiences while we're sleeping, so we remember it as a dream, and it's actually an event. There are the physical experiences, them walking around, seeing them. There are seeing ships in the skies. Ships are all over. There are more ships here than you could ever imagine, and I'll get to that in another video a little later on. But energetic experience, telepathic experience, artistic experience. If you're drawing and creating and you find yourself creating images of beings you've never seen before, that could be you experiencing consciousness, as we've talked about in the creativity portions. But the whole point of this is to tell you that there are a multitude of ways that you can be contacted, a multitude of ways you can experience. Some of the biggest things to do are to overcome fear, are to allow yourself to raise your vibration, to do what you can in your circumstances, your environment, your situation, to remember not to beat yourself up if you can't do everything. When I talk about salt baths, some people don't have baths. It's okay. If you don't have a bath, there are other things you can do. When I talk about food, some people don't have food access to plant-based options. That's okay. Do your best. Do your best when it comes to what you have and what resources you have. That's what matters the most. And they'll respect that. They'll help you. They'll guide you if they see you making the moves. So you do your best to raise your vibration. Do your best to overcome fear. And then trust yourself. One of the other big things is trusting yourself. And I just want to say, in responding versus reacting, learn to respond versus react to a situation. And that is a powerful thing, because it will help you in your day-to-day life, just with humans and regular everyday people too. But trust your experiences. If you experience something, trust yourself. Trust that you experienced it. Understand you might not understand it all. That's a key. Trust that it happened, but have the awareness and the wisdom to understand you could be wrong about what happened, because of your perception and what you know at the time. And that has happened to me time and time again, where the things I know at the time don't allow me to understand the whole experience. So I can say, when I have that experience, I don't really understand what they're talking about. I don't really understand what happened here, rather than trying to force it into a path, into a meaning. And then maybe weeks later, maybe 6 months later, I get a download, I have an experience, or something happens, and I go, oh, that's why that experience happened that way. Trust that you have your experiences. Trust that you're seeing, you're hearing, you're experiencing. No matter what, do not let other people create doubt in you. Do not let those who don't believe shift you away. That is a big thing. If you're going to do this work, you need to be authentic to yourself. You need to trust yourself, and you need to honor those experiences. That also means not sharing. A lot of people want to share their experiences and go around and tell everybody. Don't do that. You're going to get that feedback loop of people who aren't ready to hear, who don't believe, and who don't want you to raise your vibration, because subconsciously they know if you go higher than them, they're going to lose you. So keep that in mind. Sharing, we always heard in grade school, sharing is caring. That's not the case here. Not sharing is caring, because sharing is going to trigger people. It's going to put them into fear modes. It's going to put them into reactions that are not of your benefit, and sometimes not of benevolence with how they respond, or react, I should say, how they react. But trust yourself. Trust your experiences, and just leave that leeway, leave that space for you to be able to shift your perceptions based on what you knew then and what you know now. That's happened to me time and time again. We have to understand, as a race, our perceptions can change based on what we know at the time we experience something. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you have tolerance and patience for other people. That's how you have love for other people, understanding that they are experiencing something from their state of consciousness in their level of knowledge. It brings the world together when we understand that. And it helps you as you go on your experiences. Because if you trust yourself and leave that space open, things you can't even possibly imagine will happen. There are things I don't share with people. I share with maybe one or two other people. There are things I've never shared with people. For me, they are things that others won't. I can't do a video and explain it in a way that makes sense. So I share what I can. And you'll have those experiences as you go on this journey, especially if you're astral traveling and seeing other realms, seeing other worlds. You'll have experiences you can't put into words and explain, but trust that they happened. Trust that they're real. And do the work. Raise your vibration and they will come. They will, when you're ready. And just remember, when people say they come when you're ready, that does not mean you sit and do nothing. It's a key. It does not mean you sit and do nothing just because people say they come when you're ready. It's something I don't like in the communities I've seen. And this is why. It gives people the impression that they're just waiting to be told they're ready. It takes work. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of healing. Healing's a big thing, but it takes a lot of work, and everything you do in this process will help you heal, whether it's your diet, responding versus reacting, dealing with fear, dealing with trust. All these things, they all help you heal. But healing is big. Doing the work to heal, which is raising your vibration too. Doing the work to raise your vibration. That is what gets you ready. That is what gets you ready for their vibration, gets you ready for understanding them when you see them. When you see something that looks like an insect in human form, are you going to run, or are you going to judge it based on how it looks? Or are you going to try to fight it because it looks different, try to squash it? So there's a lot to work on through judgment, through reactions, through acceptance that everything, no matter what it looks like, is valid. To understand all that. So hopefully that helps you understand how we experience contact, how to get there. And a lot of it is just going through this course, doing all those steps, or as many as you can. A lot of them don't require you to do anything other than change your mindset or work on your mental health, spiritual health. There are things that you might not be able to do, like I said, with food. You know, things that aren't available depending on your situation. Don't beat yourself up about that. Do what you can do. Do what you can do, and that's the point, and you'll still rise. So let's get to the next section. I'll talk a lot more about ETs in my other areas, but this section is mostly just to get you ready, get you on track, and prepare you, and give you a few tips on contact, which everybody can do. As I said, the meditations, and then there'll be some more things here coming up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for getting this far in the course. I love you all. I'm grateful for you all. And let's get to the next video.